There is no way in hell that anyone could be optimistic about how Donald Trump's foreign policy making has gone. He has started problems and raised tensions with most of the planet at this point. It starts with Iran, Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Canada, Greenland. I'm not sure if we're on Russia's side or Ukraine's side. And then all the EU is upset about what we're doing to Greenland. I would imagine most of South America is terrified after what he just did to Venezuela. So let's take this one by one and see where we're at when it comes to hostilities and where we're at as a foreign power. So, one country on our radar is Mexico. Now, Mexico is a country that is a narco state, and they also, a lot of guns and drugs run through there, but that's because we supply the guns and we buy the drugs. So, bombing the cartels isn't going to stop Americans from dying from drugs, it's only going to continue it. Trump's been talking about bombing Mexico for years. This is just a continuation of that same conversation.
By the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it, but unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
I remember one time you actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you had offered to send U.S. troops into
Sure,
Mexico to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you've
Well, I like
spoken to her
Claudia.
about?
I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offer to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico.
All right, so after Mexico, we got Colombia. Now, Colombia is neighbors with Venezuela. Venezuela just watched their dictator get kidnapped by the United States. I would imagine Colombia's leader is looking in the same boat. We can't deny that a lot of drugs come from Colombia, but you know, regime change in Colombia, I don't think anybody really voted for that. Let's see what Trump has to say about that.
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States, and I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't wise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories that they make cocaine, as you know, and they sell it right into the United States. So he better wise up, or he'll be next. He'll be next too. And I hope he's listening. He's going to be next. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Because we don't like people when they kill people. And they sell drugs, they kill them in the United States and Colombia.
He's next? Dude, Jesus Christ. That is some insane, absolutely insane rhetoric right there. This is so disturbing on so many levels. What do you mean he's next? Are you going to go in there and kidnap him like you did Maduro? Wild. Just wild stuff, guys.
Is a major manufacturer of drugs, meaning cocaine in particular, as you know.
It's true. They are a major manufacturing of cocaine, but you know who's a major manufacturer of guns? And that's most likely where Colombia gets most of their guns, from the United States. Next up, we got Venezuela. Trump went in there in the dead of night with a bunch of helicopters and a bunch of stealth bombers and kidnapped the dictator of Venezuela. He's now in an American jail facing some pretty dubious charges. But either way, Venezuela is left in a power vacuum. We don't know who's really in charge over there. But if you ask Donald Trump, it's him. He tweeted out a Wikipedia image of him saying he's the acting president of Venezuela. Is that what you guys voted for? Is that what you guys voted for? You voted for Trump to be president of Venezuela? Are we going broke or something? Does our president need to get a second job because we're so broke? This image is just so terrible. Like, out of all the images of Maduro getting, perp walked in the United States, all the helicopter rides, the van rides, this right here is probably the most disturbing part of the entire situation. I don't really know what to say. Venezuela is not in good hands right now, and it looks pretty rough for the future of Venezuela. Next is Canada. I don't fully understand the nature of why Trump hates Canada so much. I think it's just as simple as they're liberal and he doesn't like liberal democracy. So he's been joking about them being the 51st state. He's added a whole bunch of tariffs on them. He's talked about taking out, Trudeau. He said all kinds of stuff. And right now Canada hates us. They're boycotting a lot of our goods. And it's just on full display how weird this has been with Canada as well. Let's listen to
decide
Orange Man himself.
trade talks with Canada? At what rate are you looking to set?
So Canada put a charge on some of our companies, and Canada's been a very difficult country to deal with over the years. We hear Canada, we have a great relationship with the people of Canada, but it's been very difficult. And they put a charge, and they were a little bit early. We found out about it. So, and we have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have economically, we have such power over Canada. I'd rather not use it, but they did something with our tech companies today, trying to copy Europe. They copied Europe. It's not going to work out well for Europe either, and it's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it. So I said we're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act. Okay?
Is there anything Canada can do to change your mind about this situation?
Well, no, they put a tax on companies that were American companies that they shouldn't. Very severe tax, and yeah, I guess they could remove it. They will, but I don't really. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We have all the cards. We have all the cards. We do a lot of business with Canada, but relatively little. They do most of their businesses with us, and when you have that circumstance, you treat people better. They've had.
We hold all the cards, all the cards. I can't believe you guys put a tax on an American good. That is just wild that you would even do that. It's so incoherent, the whole thing. It's about taxes, about tariffs. It's just very incoherent. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know what the plan is with Canada. Probably nothing, but we'll see. But either way, it's pretty obvious that Trump wants Canada and wants to do something with them as well. Trump really seems to want Greenland too. Greenland, he's saying it's because of their natural resources and because of their proximity to the Arctic and Russia, which if you believe in climate change, you believe that all the Arctic lines of transport are going to be thawing out soon, and the Arctic is the next battleground. I don't think Trump believes in climate change, but nonetheless, military is the reason why he wants Greenland. And he's been pretty aggressive about it and saying some really weird things. But he's been talking about buying it. He's been talking about buying it militarily. And it's so serious that the EU is sending troops to Greenland. I believe there's already some German warships there. And UK is talking about doing that as well. It's a very incendiary situation. And Donald Trump, it's all his making. And he's making this push for Greenland along with the allies. And it still doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you guys don't believe me, here's the proof.
If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen. If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer you? Either like
Yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Has anyone heard of Russia or China making threats about taking Greenland? The only country I've seen make a threat about taking Greenland is the United States. The only person I see threatening Greenland is Donald Trump. And we already have a base there. We could do whatever we want there. They've always said we could do whatever we want there. Greenland's not like this sweet country that has easy to get resources. It's Greenland. It's right next to the Arctic Circle. It sucks to live there. It's hard to live there. This is just so incoherent his beef with Greenland is just absurd on so many levels. All right, so ever since Russia convinced Cuba to take some nuclear weapons, build some nuclear sites back in the day, Cuba has been embargoed by the US ever since. It's been 50 years. Cuba is a messed up country for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is the embargo. You guys ever see videos of Cuba and you have you see all the cars are from the 50s and 60s because of the embargo, they haven't imported any new things because they're just stuck in a different time because of that one time they try to help out Russia. So this administration, all the neocons, they still have the same feeling towards Cuba. Cuba they have a relationship with Russia. They have a relationship with Venezuela, and all the people that have really bad tariffs, embargoes, they're all kind of getting together to try to help themselves because what else are they supposed to do? So in addition to all the other countries we just talked about, Cuba is on the list as well. Let's see what Trump has to say about Cuba.
Minutes ago, President Trump calling out Cuba on Truth Social, urging the regime to cut a deal with the U.S. following the military action in Venezuela. Trump declaring that no more oil or money will be going to Cuba from Venezuela, adding, quote, "I strongly suggest they make a deal before it's too late."
Hey guys, that was the prediction. You take out Maduro, you control the oil, which was going there. You're going to see Cuba go down and maybe even Nicaragua.
It's like the domino effect.
Oh, we're doing Nicaragua now too. They just Fox News had to throw we're doing something with Nicaragua too. Nicaragua. I said that kind of weird. My bad. Um, yeah. So I'm trying to talk about Cuba and Fox News like, well, let's do something with Nicaragua too. Also Fox News, thanks for not reading the whole tweet, just doing the highlights. I appreciate that. But yeah, no more oil, no more money going to Cuba. Let's screw up Cuba even worse. Good call, President Trump. So Ukraine is a weird one because Ukraine, was supposed to be one of our NATO allies. And when it comes to, NATO, it doesn't have a lot of teeth these days. But I was definitely under the impression that Ukraine is an ally, that Russia invaded them, Russia's the aggressor, and this war started because of Russia, and it's still continuing because of Russia. But the administration, like whatever their message is on Ukraine and Russia, I don't really understand it. I guess he's kind of said some bad things about Russia, but not really. He's constantly talking shit on Ukraine. He's constantly being a jerk to Zelensky, and he's constantly putting Putin on a pedestal. So I hate to do this, but I got to add Ukraine to the list of countries that the United States has beef with. Let's listen to the president himself talk about how much he really thinks about Ukraine.
President Zelensky, sir, about his offer to purchase more Patriot missile
Oh,
batteries?
I don't know. He's always looking to purchase missiles. He's against. Listen, when you start a war, you got to know that you can win the war.
No shit, he's always looking to purchase missiles. He's in a war against a country like 2-3 times his size. He needs help.
Right? You don't start a war against somebody that's 20 times your size, and then hope that.
Did Trump just say that Ukraine shouldn't have started a war against a country 20 times its size? He did just say that. I don't know why I asked that. That was a rhetorical question. What a jerk.
People give you some missiles.
President Zelensky, sir, about his
the whole thing, that is just I like it. It's infuriating to hear Trump say that stuff about Ukraine. Like it really is. Okay. So Save for Last is going to be the country that we seem to have the most current beef with right now. And that's saying a lot since we just, kidnapped Venezuela's president. That's beef too, but Venezuela doesn't really have a military, so they're not like are co-equal when it comes to like fighting. Like no one in that military is like, let's strike a US ship, because they know that they'd be dead within hours, maybe days. It wouldn't go well for them. So there's been a lot of talk about Iran lately. So let's dig into Iran real quick. Out of all the countries it seems that we're beefing with, it seems like Iran is next on the list. It's kind of hard to tell because we're talking about Greenland a lot too and Mexico a lot, but it does seem like Iran is next. They've had a lot of protests going on. There's a lot of dead protesters. It's kind of hard to get a real grasp of what's really going on over there, because I believe there's some sort of an internet outage over there in Iran. That's because the dictator trying to dictate. But either way, the rhetoric coming from Donald Trump in the White House seems to point in the direction that Iran is next on the list.
It's keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right now, I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers. Look, 1 death is too much. But I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops.
He said the death of 1 protester is too much, and he's upset about the killing of protesters in Iran. Is that some kind of a joke? This is in the context of Renee Good getting shot by ICE the other day. So it's okay to protest in Iran, but it's not okay to protest in the United States. It's so incoherent. It's very hard to understand and take this guy seriously. This is just, it's crazy.
And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today. And I say, make Iran great again. It was a great country until these monsters came in and took it.
Make Iran great again. That's definitely what you ran on and why you got voted, really appreciate all that. Yeah, so I guess he made some claim that if you do any business with Iran, then your enemy's the United States, so you can't do business with Iran anymore. It does a point in the direction that that's what's happening. And the rhetoric points it that way. I got one more video to show for you guys.
There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. Watching the situation, we're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down.
Well, I'm glad that there's not going to be any boots on the ground. I really appreciate that, Trump. So yeah, that's the breakdown of all the people that we have issues with right now. Short list. We got Iran, Mexico, Colombia, Cuba, Venezuela, Canada, Greenland, maybe Russia, and definitely Ukraine. So yeah, where the next military action will happen next, where the violence is going to happen next, it's probably going to happen in any of those countries. Not super stoked on that, but I am here to keep you guys tuned in, and you guys stay tuned in. Please like, subscribe, share, and I could create more of this content. Have a good day, guys.